Okay. Hello, my name is Ryan Carnes, and for my final project, I decided to go with the Blender animation track. So basically, what I'll do here is I'll run through the code, sort of talk about it, describe what it does. I'm on my laptop right now because my desktop doesn't have a webcam, but I developed all of this and rendered it all out on my desktop. So I will put the final, I rendered it twice in Eevee and Cycles, and I'll put the two final renders at the end of this video in their entirety. But I probably won't have my face cam over that. I'll just have it over this first portion of me going over the code because I wouldn't be able to run all of this on my laptop. I'm just doing it so I have the webcam and I'm able to talk about the code. Um, all right, so let's just go ahead and run through what's going on right here. I'll start from the bottom. I'll start from my main. So basically, I just have a main function like I would do normally when I'm coding. Basically, I just run through these functions I have defined here. Clear scene will just clear the scene every single time I run the script so that I'm not repeatedly adding things and having to delete them every single time. I have the set world background color, which just sets the background to like a dark gray so that it's not just the default. I have a camera location variable set here that I'm passing into set camera location, and then I have a generate cityscape function. Some of the names of these functions are not truly super indicative of what they're doing because I sort of like switch gears halfway through the animation process to make something slightly different. But I'll describe it as I go along. And then I have this move camera function here. So I'll just go down the list of my functions and describe what they do. Um, First here I have the clear scene function. This basically just goes through and deletes all the meshes and deletes all the lights that I have placed throughout it every single time I run the script so that it's easy to redo it every single time. Set world background color here. This basically gets the background from the scene context and then sets it to this dark gray color that I have set here. My set camera location, this sets the initial location of the camera at the beginning of the animation, which you can see in the viewport here. Um, and then I have this this create rectangle function, which gets evoked later on. This basically is just a shorthand for me to be able to easily create rectangles just by passing in X, Y, Z, a width, the depth, the height, and this is a default color parameter, but I pass something into it later on. Let's see here. This function here, make car, it does not do what it says on the tin at all. Basically, this will generate some sphere. Like if I go forward in the viewport here a little bit, you see this is these spheres that are coming out right here. This is all handled by the make car function here. And I'm not gonna lie, I probably could have coded this a little smarter, but I wasn't too worried about it. Basically what this does is it's spawning four layers of cubes that move towards each other like this into the center and then go up and out of the scene, and also gives them random colors and random start locations so that there's an element of randomness to this animation and a few different aspects so that every time you run the script and rerun it and play the animation, it actually comes out a little bit differently with the colors and the locations of the objects. Um, and yeah, and as you can see through here, like I add a sphere here, I set the colors of it, and then I keyframe the first half of the animation from 1 to 720 and make them come to the center of the scene. And then from 721 to 1440, I have them go up and out of the scene. And this is basically like I said, I could have coded this a little better. I basically just repeated it 4 times for the four different sets of spheres here. Um, and then yeah, right here, generate cityscape. This basically handles all of the rectangles you see on the sides of the scene in the viewport. They spawn with random X and Y values so that so all sort of they're not just like in a line, they're all sort of offset from each other, and they're all generated with random colors as well. Um, and I can set how long this scene is with this length variable here and just loops through it and handles all of it within this for loop. And then for every 5 rectangles, I'm also adding three sets of point light objects. Like I believe that the way they're set up is it's like bottom left, middle right, top left. It might be the inverse of that. I don't remember exactly. But that's basically all that does. And then this last create rectangle here just creates the floor plane that you can see, this dark floor plane right here. And then finally, the move camera function right here. This basically dictates the movement of the camera through the scene. Like you can see that the camera is zooming in, and then moving up and out. And you can see for frame 1 to 720 is basically that forward movement, and then 721 to 1000 and 1001 to 1440 is doing the rotation of the camera that's at the end of the animation. And I rendered this out twice. I initially rendered it out using Eevee as my render engine because I have a 3060 RTX NVIDIA graphics card in my desktop, and Eevee is sort of optimized for the NVIDIA cards. But I found that it gave me really weird lighting artifacts and like weird lighting issues and that sort of thing. And I eventually came to find out it was because of the rendering engine I was using, and that took me about 30 minutes to render out using Eevee as my rendering engine. So I didn't really like how that came out. I will, that'll be the first one you see at the end of this video will be the Eevee rendering. And so you'll notice like the lighting artifacts and the weird like glitchy stuttering where objects clip together and that sort of thing. And then after that, I decided to render it using Cycles, which simulates light much more accurately. I believe I rendered it with 500 samples. Uh, Using a maximum of 2 lighting bounces. So I turned a lot of the settings down in order to be able to do it. And even then, with my 3060 RTX, it took me 16 hours to render this whole scene in its entirety. So yeah, it took quite a long time to render all this out. But I think the results are much, much better than the Eevee rendering, which only took about 30 minutes. And sorry, let me think about if there's actually anything else. I think that actually covers most of what I want to talk about here. I'll play, I'll go through and just like do a little scrub through the timeline really here so you can kind of get a preview of what happens in the animation before you see the final renders. Um, but like I said, this does not run well on my laptop at all compared to my desktop with my graphics card and everything. Um, and yeah, that's all. I guess that's all the code for the project. Next you'll just see the Eevee rendering, and then you'll see the Cycles rendering. I'll put the Eevee one first and the Cycles one after, so you can see the differences between the two. And yeah, it was a fun project. I enjoyed the class. Also, I probably won't have my face cam in the end of it because I'm just gonna edit all of this together in DaVinci Resolve. I might put some music over the uh the two renderings as well.